Hello again. Welcome to another video from the Next Gen Guide to English Grammar. In this lesson, we return to the present simple again to look at the special rule that applies when the subject of a sentence is third person singular. Or in other words, what we do to verbs when the subject is a he, a she, or an it. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand and explain why the form of the verb changes in affirmative present simple sentences when the subject is a he, a she, or an it. You should also be able to understand and explain how to ask present simple tense questions with a third person singular subject. For example, why do we say it tastes nice and not it tastes nice? And why do we say does it taste nice instead of do it taste nice? We've already looked at the present simple and how we make statements and ask questions. So this lesson generally follows all those same rules and principles. What's different here is that we're specifically looking at the third person singular and how we use it in affirmative statements and when asking questions. So, what is the third person singular? Well, when there is one individual talking alone and there's no one else around, he or she can only speak about him or herself. So he or she says, I. This is the first person. Then when someone else comes along, this is the second person. And when they talk to each other, they say, you. So the second person is when we directly address someone else. Now, if a third person comes along, the original two talk about them by saying he or she. So the third person is when we talk about someone or something else. To talk about someone or something else, we can also use it and they. They refers to a group, and he, she, and it are all singular. So the phrase third person singular means something that can be described as a he, a she, or an it. So why is this important, and why is it useful to know this? Well, that's because in the present simple tense, if the subject is third person singular, the verb changes form. For example, when we talk about ourselves, we might say, I go to work at 7 o'clock. But if we talk about someone else, then we say, she goes to work at 7 o'clock. It's the same verb with the same meaning, but the second one looks different because the subject is third person singular. The general rule is that when the subject of an affirmative present simple sentence is third person singular, the verb ends in s. Sometimes we just add s to the verb, sometimes we add es, sometimes we remove a y and add ies. But as a general rule, the last letter should always be s. For example, I like lemon slices. He likes lemon slices. You watch TV. She watches TV. We have more space. It has more space. He likes. She watches. It has. Also, notice here that we have 3 different sounds as well as 3 different word endings. Likes, watches, has. So although we can say just add an s, we also have to take into consideration that there are also different pronunciations of s. Just like with affirmative statements, making negative statements, asking questions, and giving answers about third-person singular subjects all follow the exact same rules, with the exception of using does instead of do. For negative statements, questions, and short answers with a third-person singular subject, we don't add an s to the verb, as this rule only applies for affirmative statements. For example, I don't drive. He doesn't drive. Do you know? Does she know? Yes, we do. No, it doesn't.